I guess post Super Bowl mortem, if you really think about it, because there was some fire text going back and forth here this week between the Enough Said crew. So we're really going to get into it tonight, and we appreciate everybody watching us. As always, ring the bell on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. We are the Enough Said Podcast, or you can email us at enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. So we appreciate everybody listening tonight. And let's get right into it and get into our panel. And as usual, we have the traditional suspects here. So let's start with this guy. I always start with him, but it's just an easy way to start. So this guy is still trying to recover from watching the 49ers lose in his crib. It's probably still better than having to put on that reversible bib. Say hi to Mike, everybody.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going?
Mike.
What up? You might have to put that bib back on later on tonight. So.
Oh, no.
All right. This next guy, every time he is on the show, things tend to go south. The Grand Canyon has nothing on the size of his mouth. Say hi to Jermaine, everybody. What's up, Jermaine?
What's up, fellas? What's going on?
What up, Jermaine?
What's going on?
What's up?
All right. Happy Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah.
And last but not least, he knows I'm coming for him. My buddy from kindergarten. Getting him all fired up and mad is always a blast. He can blow more smoke up your ass than Hef on the All Dressed Up podcast. Say hi to Dre, everybody.
Yo, what up, everybody? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah. We're going to get some fired up tonight, after what has happened to our Philadelphia Eagles. So we're going to chime in on that and really reflect on the last 3 days of what went down and how we all feel.
Yeah. No, I agree. We're going to definitely get right into it. Shout out to the All Dressed Up podcast. Those guys are great. We were on their show the other night. We know those guys are listening tonight, so we just want to give a quick shout out to them.
What up?
They're all, as I guess KD would say, in the background. So we're watching them tonight, and we appreciate them. Anybody else who's listening. So, all right, guys, we got to do this. So let's talk about what happened. Texts were flying all over the place. Whose fault is it? Is it Jalen? Is it the defense? Is it Jonathan Gannon? Is it Howie Roseman? You could go down the list. Is it, of course, the MVP quarterback with the fumble and Jalen Hurts? So we'll just go around the horn. Mike, let's start with you. What happened and whose fault was it?
From the text, what I'm thinking. But listen, Jalen Hurts is partly responsible. I'm not going to lie. You have a turnover. That's a big turnover. It hurts. But to me, the lion's share of it all is on the defense and the special teams and coaching. I think that second half really showed it all. And that's when the games really made, you either lose or win. It's really no second half. And I think the Eagles, who played well, it wasn't like they got skunked, but they were just not enough. And I think it was just adjustments in the second half and the defense getting exposed that really cost them to lose the game.
All right, Dre, I know you disagree with him. You're bringing the hot. I know you don't like it. Go ahead, buddy.
Wait, what did he say? Look, man, it took till today for me to really gather my thoughts and whatnot. Yes, I was disappointed from the loss. I was mad first, but then I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it was a disappointment. But look, to me, man, you got to look at every aspect part of what happened. I'm gonna go backwards first. I'm gonna say, because everybody said, "Oh, it was that holding penalty." Nah, it wasn't that did the dagger. It hurt. Don't get me wrong. It basically just didn't give us time to counterattack the Kansas City Chiefs. That's basically what it came down to. It did end the game, but even Mayberry said that, yeah, I had my hand on him. But I'm gonna go back, man, to all the way to the first half. To me, the turnover that Jalen Hurts had during that drive was basically the offsides penalty that we had when we were third down and we're trying to go for the first down and jumped and we were delay a game because we jumped up off. Then that next play, Jalen Hurts was trying to roll out, switch to protected on his protect side, and he fumbled the ball, which cost us 7 points. To me, that is the turning point of why we lost the game. I mean, yes, the defense second half didn't show up, but listen, turnovers is what causes you to lose, in my opinion. If we would have won, then the turnover wouldn't matter. So I have to disagree. You say 90% of the defense. It was more of 50. It was more like defense and Jalen Hurts. I mean, there's no other thing I can say about why we went up 21. We could have been up 21-7 at halftime. That will put Patrick Mahomes on more pressure from our defense if we change our adjustments and never know the outcome of that. What happened is that put pressure on Patrick Mahomes more than what he had. To me, he had an easy way to go in there and then top the score because of that turnover.
Jermaine, you know who I want to blame, and that's my boy Howie. I know you'll never say that. Inexperienced coaches
we're
who
gonna
got
put this to rest.
outcoached. He hired them. Howie put the players on the field. The defensive players on the field didn't produce that game. I will say that 70% of the defensive line, they played the 70% of the snaps. So they got a lot more. Fletcher Cox never played 70% of the snaps the whole year. He did in the Super Bowl. Did they just get run down? What happened?
No, look. We're gonna lay this Howie crap what you're saying Sal to rest. Okay? All right. Me and Dre talked about this morning. I'm just trying to get my thoughts together because all that text messaging that we was going back. Look, I really didn't have time to go back and text message. I'm glad that we was doing this podcast tonight and everything. Look, Howie is not on the field. Okay, Sal. All right. I will respect what you're saying. If you got a hot nut for Howie because you think that he did this and he did that and whatnot, listen, Sal.
Say that again.
If you have a hot nut for Howie, all right. My thing is this, okay? I don't have a problem with Howie anymore because I think he's done a good job over the last 2 years. Okay, listen to me. Who hired Howie? Howie didn't come in and is like, hey guys, I'm going to be part of the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm just going to be the general manager. So who hired Howie? How come you're not blaming the owner? You're just putting your emphasis on Howie. Howie is doing what the owner is basically telling him what to do. Jeffrey Lurie is the one that hired Howie. But why are you putting the emphasis on Howie? For what?
Because
He put together, Sal. He put together a great team this year, okay? And I'm going to get to the defense in a second. But just answer the question. So how come you're not saying Jeffrey Lurie? Dallas Cowboys,
Jeffrey Lurie does not pick
Jones,
the players.
Right?
Jeffrey Lurie does not pick the players. He doesn't hire the coach.
Who hired? He's involved in the coaching staff. Jeffrey Lurie is involved. It's not up to Howie does not have the last say as far as hiring Nick Sirianni and all the defensive coordinators. It's not Howie. It's Jeffrey. Jeffrey has the last say. Yes, come on. Why would Howie? Howie's a general manager. Why would he have the last say?
Lurie is not like, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys who's involved in everything. Lurie is more hands off than him. Yeah,
okay. So you mean to tell me that Howard, you got full reins. You do what you got to do, and he's just going to lay back. So you mean to tell me that Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of this team, the one that signs all the paychecks and all that stuff, don't have nothing to do with what was going on? So I guess he didn't have nothing to do as far as hiring Howie.
All I'm saying is he didn't pick the players. That's all I'm saying that were on the field. Jeffrey Lurie didn't pick the players.
Okay,
so that was Howie.
What players you have a problem with?
And the fact of the matter was, he picked up that defensive tackle from Chicago for a 4th-round draft pick, which was awful. The guy went down from 16 sacks to 1.
Right. Awful. Okay, I can agree with you with that. But you didn't really. Basically, you didn't need him. Did we lead the league in sacks?
You wouldn't need him. We got 0 sacks. We didn't get any sacks in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so you was really depending yourself on Robert Quinn to step up. You know,
No,
he
I
didn't
was
step
depending
up
on him
all
to get
season.
field time, at least to give these other guys a break and rotate like normally they do on
You
the defensive
knew,
line,
but
which they didn't
why?
do.
Why? Okay, out of all these things, you're going to pick Robert Quinn because it's a 4th-round pick, and I'm totally agreeing with you. It was a bust. You know what I mean? And I'm glad it wasn't a higher draft pick or whatever. But Robert Quinn, you really didn't. I mean, you really didn't need him. Honestly, you didn't need him. I'm talking about not at the Super Bowl. Everybody didn't show up. So you can't say,
no question.
"Oh,
I
Robert
agree that.
Quinn."
Yeah, not
You
everybody
can't
showed
say
up.
Robert Quinn. Everybody didn't show up. I mean, between the 2 tackles, from what I'm hearing on the radio, guess how many tackles between Sue, Lavelle guy, and Fletcher Cox? Guess how many tackles they had? 1.
5.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
freaking
Jordan,
terrible,
even Jordan Davis had a tackle. He stopped. He
No,
stopped.
no.
What's the name?
Between
Number
the
10.
interior line, there was only 1 tackle, Dre. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
What I'm
You know what I
saying,
mean?
what I'm saying, it was a combination of a lot of things. I think it was, yes, it was the fumble. Yes, it was the defense. Yes, it was the inexperience of the coaches. Ultimately, Howie is responsible for hiring the coaches, inexperienced
All right,
or
stop
not,
right there.
along with
All right.
Sirianni.
Okay,
He
stop
is.
right there because, but if you were saying that, then you're telling me that Nick Sirianni sucks. Then that's what you're saying.
I didn't say Sirianni sucked.
You just
Although
said
I will
Howie
say,
hired him.
I
You
said
just said
Howie
Howie hired
hired
him.
him. But
Then Howie
remember,
sucks, correct? To you, Howie sucks to
remember,
you, correct?
Sirianni got the play calling taken away from him because he did suck. Remember, they had to pull the play calling from him because he was
Who
awful.
took it from him? Was it Sirianni or was it
Stike-
Howie?
Yeah,
It
who
was-
took it?
No,
That I don't know.
Yeah,
So-
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
Sirianni gave it up because
So,
he
I mean-
knew he couldn't do it. So he gave it up to Steichen.
Yeah,
Sirianni
but
did.
all I'm saying is I'm just trying to understand Sal's his thinking. I mean, if you're telling me that Howie sucks and the coaching sucks, you're telling me Nick Sirianni sucks and he doesn't suck. Okay, I probably agree with you with Steichen and Gannon, and they're gone. Okay, but
All I said was that he was inexperienced and he got outcoached in the Super Bowl. I didn't say he sucked.
How did he? And stop right there, Sal. So how did he get out coached and your team put up 35 points?
How did he get outcoached? They got
So what
lit up
I'm-
in the second half. They didn't make any
And
adjustments.
right, so
What do you
let
mean
me
how they
let
get
me go back to
outcoached?
all right, Sal. Let me go back to that, and I'm
How they
glad you
get
brought that up.
outcoached? They're up 10
Yeah.
points.
He did-
They're only the
he
second
did-
team in the Super Bowl that ever
Sal,
lost by 10 points and gave that up.
Sal, number
Second
one.
team. No, Jermaine. No way.
Sal,
You're
Sal,
losing this
listen to me.
argument. You've already
No,
lost, bud.
Wait a
You're
minute.
done.
No, wait a minute. No, I'm going to explain
You're
myself
done, dude.
because you already said it. You already said it. You talking about Sirianni got out coached. You knew Jonathan Gannon, all right, the whole season did not make any adjustments in any game. Because you know why? Jonathan Gannon fed off of the freaking offense. Because the offense put up points, so there was no need in his mind that he did not need to make no adjustments. You knew that when you was going into the Super Bowl, Sal. So
I think he
I'm
made
saying,
adjustments when the defensive line got hurt and he had some injuries and they couldn't stop the run. And yes, Howie brought in some players.
And who hired? And who brought in Sue and Joseph? Who brought them in? Howie brought them in.
Howie brought
Howie
in.
brought
Did
them
they do
in.
anything in the Super Bowl and did they help?
No, they didn't do anything in the Super Bowl, but you knew with Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon was inconsistent during the whole season, Sal. You knew that. You knew that, Sal. You
but
watched
Sue and
the
them
season,
did contribute
Sal.
us to get to the
You
Super Bowl.
watched- What's
Big
that?
time.
So,
Yeah.
okay, then let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Who is Jonathan Gannon's boss then? Sirianni. Sirianni should have taken him aside and said, make the adjustments.
He is not. I understand he's the coach. Okay, I understand that, but he is not a defensive. You put people in the place for for a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. I think, my opinion, I don't know this for sure, but I think Sirianni is more he's not a defensive minded coach. Just like
No, he's not. He was an offensive coordinator.
Right,
of
okay,
course.
yeah, all right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And I'm glad, and I think we all can agree, besides Mike, because he's a San Fran 49ers fan, that we glad that Gannon is gone. And Gannon's going to have problems
agreed.
in Arizona and whatnot.
No question.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
No, agreed.
Steichen is a little concerned, but go ahead.
What adjustments could have Gannon made in the second half? I mean, it's the Chiefs that made an adjustment and exposed things that I don't know what Gannon probably could have did as an adjustment. You know, I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster got 7 targets You know, he got 7 catches, 9 targets. Most of that came in the second half. I mean, it was a matchup. If you go and change your coverage on Juju, you're going to open up Travis Kelce, who in the first half, was doing pretty well until they started shutting him down. I don't know what kind of adjustments you could have made. I mean, the Chiefs found the mismatches, and then it just kind of just opened it up.
And I felt that when I said on our pre-Super Bowl podcast that Travis needed to be shut down early, but Jermaine said let him get his 7 carries. I know I'm thinking after fact, but we should have shut him down early.
Well, to answer Mike's question, the adjustments they could have made, they were playing zone, and they were getting lit up in the zone. They could have gone man to man. They could have given different looks in the zone, and that didn't happen. They were playing very vanilla. Yeah.
How many times?
I don't know. I mean, the 2 touchdowns that stood out was the ones where the guy went in motion and cut back and no one covered him. I don't know what Gannon could have did in that place. I mean, the guys are sitting there communicating and they don't know who to cover. And then when Sky Moore got the touchdown, it was kind of the same play, just flipped to the other side. And they got confused. I don't know what Gannon could do. I think he put the people who called the right play. They just didn't execute.
Again, it goes back to the zone there. Yeah. Ahead,
right. And how many times, Sal, how many times have you seen that zone the whole season? Whole season. What makes you think that, yes, he had a good run against San Fran. He had a good game plan against San Fran. He had a good game plan against the Giants, but it's inconsistent. So I'm not surprised when you say, or when Dre said, oh, it's the defense. Everybody says the defense organic. We knew this the whole freaking season. We did. It's not a shock. It's not a shock whatsoever. It's not. That's why I said Jonathan Gannon, they interviewed him, and I was listening on the morning radio with Angelo and stuff, and they basically said when they interviewed Jonathan Gannon, and they asked him, what's your philosophy on defense? Or what's your scheme? You know what this dumbass said? I don't have a defensive scheme. That should have been a red flag right there. Red flag right there to say, oh, wait a minute. You don't have a scheme? I never heard no coordinator come off and say they never had a scheme or the philosophy of what's happening. So that was our downhill right there.
Yeah. Sure. That's part of it, no doubt.
Yeah.
But you have to still say though. I mean, that defense was good. I mean, it wasn't no slouch.
It was good.
It was number 2 defense all season, ranked. In terms of yards, right behind San Francisco. And then the sacks. I mean, they almost broke a record for number of sacks in the season. Right. So I mean, there's something there
because it's all pending on the offense. Not one game this season. And look, I don't know who's on here and all that stuff, but somebody proved me wrong. But the whole season, the defense did not win the game because the offense always put up points. The defense, Jonathan Gannon, fed off of the offense. That's just my opinion, what I'm looking at. That's why there's no need for them to adjust. Because if Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, everybody's putting all these running all over, Miles Sanders running all over, he's saying back there, he's like, well, there's no need for me. I'm just going to just, rush my 4 and that's it. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. He fed off of the offense. That's just me. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, man. I mean,
there's not one time this season that the defense pulled it out. No, it was pretty much a team effort because the offense showed up every time that the defense was good. That's just me.
Yeah. Well, it's been brought up that, once the lead was taken away, can Philadelphia recover? Well, obviously they didn't. I mean, that was also a good, point that our defense did not capitalize on that. But at the same time, I felt that when it was about third quarter, we kind of got away from how we did get those 2 touchdowns was by testing those rookie corners that Kansas City had. And we got away from it because we started playing mind games with Andy Reid and his coaching, where we try to run, we try to do those little curl routes to the side. That's just, to me, that dink and dunk stuff, that's not what we're made for. We should have just kept throwing it down the field that third quarter, and we might have took the lead back again. So, like I said, man, overall, I'm disappointed. I really thought we were going to win this game. And I'm hoping that next year we can be back there again. It seems like we have the pieces. So
Yeah, I mean, offense nucleus. I mean, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I know we're gonna be talking about free agency guys, but Miles Sanders, I don't want him back. I mean, he had a bad Super
why
Bowl.
why you don't want Miles Sanders back?
I don't want him back. I don't
He had
want
a
him.
Why?
Pro Bowl
He just
season. He
looked
had over
like
a
he just
thousand
wasn't.
yards.
He had over 1,000 yards.
He had over 1,000 yards. Yeah, I get it, but that left a bad taste in my mouth. The first play of the game, you get blown up and you lost the ball, and then almost lost the ball again. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So he was kind of on and off this season. You know what I mean? But no, I don't. Shoot, I mean, the way Kenneth Gainwell was running the last 3 games, I mean, shoot. I
Well,
mean, and you get somebody that that's just me. I don't want Miles Sanders back.
you're going
I
to lose
don't.
Boston Scott too. So
Is Boston Scott a free agent?
he is.
Is he? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Boston Scott, but Sal, I don't think losing a lot of these free agents is going to just say, oh, we're going to go back to a 500 team or below.
maybe
I think
not.
we
We can
still
go
have it.
through.
We still have
You
a
got Jalen Hurts.
we
And
still have a
also,
good core, I think, together.
yeah, as a
And it would
team.
be
And you got
great. We don't know. It would be great if Kelsey came back. No, I'm sorry. Is he coming back? We don't know, but I would like to keep him. I think he's still got enough in him.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I think he's got one more year.
I think
yeah.
Jason got one more in him. So I hope he does come back. I hope he's listening.
The way
And you still got
Jason.
to consider the division too.
Yeah.
Some teams probably be a little bit better. Some probably still be stuck where they're at.
What's
Washington probably
you-
still be somewhere 9-8 again. The Giants might come down to earth a little bit. They had a good run, but and then the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Well, see, and that's what Mike, and that's what Dre was saying, because he's like, how the hell are the Cowboys number 5
Yeah.
pick? You know what I mean, to win the
Yeah.
Super Bowl? Well, who else are you going to put in there? I mean, because you got the Buffalo. I'm really starting. My foot's halfway out off the train with Buffalo, because I don't know what's going on. Every year they being picked, and then they just fall apart. Buffalo,
Mhm.
Bengals. Who else?
San Fran Eagles
San Fran, Eagles.
and Chiefs.
Yeah. So who else are you going to put up in there? You know what I mean? When he's like, well, how come Dallas is in there? Who else are you going to put in there? Because
The
those
Jets.
5
No.
teams are those 5 teams.
Minnesota. Right?
Yeah, Minnesota, the frauds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to put
Yeah,
Minnesota in.
Minnesota, the
Cousins.
frauds.
Kirk
Those are your
Cousins.
5 teams. You tell
Well,
me, guys.
actually, Jermaine, from our beginning of the season predictions, it should have been Green Bay, maybe. I mean, I guess so. I mean, from what I saw on that stat sheet, it was said plus 1,600. Before that, it was like 9,500. I mean,
Yeah.
950 odds,
Yeah.
and then it just jumped right down. I think it was the
Start going
Bengals
down,
who were like on that fourth to second to last of the list.
I don't care if Dallas is on there. Yeah, I can care less. You know what I mean? Stop. So it's all cool. It's all
Well,
good. It's all good.
I think Dak Prescott has hit his ceiling. So, I don't know, Mike, what do you think? I think Dak's hit his ceiling. I don't see Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott is on his last legs. If he even comes back. I mean, all they got on their defense is a great linebacker. They got one great linebacker, and that's basically it. I mean, Pollard, okay. Yeah. So
I like to see what they do on offense. I think getting rid of Amari Cooper last year, I didn't understand that. And I think that came back to hurt them in the playoffs when, they had really that, one weapon, CeeDee Lamb, and that's it. They have so much talent. You look at the team, you always look at them and say, yeah, they should be pretty good. But it just seems like they never reach their potential. So who knows? Maybe they will figure it out. I don't think Mike McCarthy is really the guy. And Brian Schottenheimer, that they got an offensive coordinator, I'm not sure what he's going to add. They got to figure out something. They got to figure out a way of not letting Dak make mistakes. Like they got to either run the ball more and find a much stronger run game and keep him from feeling like he has to make that pass. Because when he starts passing the ball, it's like he just starts picking the wrong guy to throw the ball to. He always picks the guy that's like the home run hit that's covered versus the guy that's wide open that might be able to get a couple yards after the catch. So they got to simplify things for him. And I think having a better running game will help him out. But we'll see. You know, they're a team that easily could be in turmoil next year and try to blow everything all up over again. You know, fire the coach and then they even get rid of Dak and trade him off somewhere and get a new quarterback and start from scratch again.
Well, is Zeke coming back? I mean, that's the thing. Is Zeke coming back? Because Tony Pollard, I mean, is he a 4-down back? I don't think he is.
Yeah, I think they'll have to.
Yeah, but Zeke's
He's
got
an
to come back.
explosive back, but he's not a 4-down back.
Zeke's got to come back cheap because his contract
yeah.
right now is killing him.
Yeah.
So they got to get him to restructure, or they just got to cut him and just get some other guys.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's kind of like an anchor on that franchise.
Yeah,
yeah, no, definitely, and because they're going to have to. Did they sign CeeDee Lamb? I think he's due.
Hey guys, I'm having a little trouble with the chat. I'm gonna have to stop for a second and just go right back again. So just bear with me while I get this chat back up. So because there's people trying to chat in.
Okay, you got it.
So I stopped the stream right now, so we can talk. There's a problem with the chat, and I accidentally hit that daggone kid thing.
Okay, so we were live. They just couldn't chat, right?
Yeah, hold on. I gotta say, no, it's not made for kids. And try it again.
I can just make an announcement that
No. Shh. Starting now. Yep. So, yeah, guys, I think we're back. Go ahead. We'll keep continuing.
Sounds
real quick, Drake, I know we kind of went back and forth on this a little bit, but so if I had to say percentage-wise, who's responsible for the loss, I still say 90% of the loss from the Super Bowl is defense and special teams. I think Jalen Hurts is like a 10%, in terms of that turnover. And I say that because the turnover happened early in the game. I understand the opportunity loss in terms of gaining points, but as soon as it happened, he redeemed himself for it. He recovered from it. He actually, I think, even played better because of it, because I think that really got him fired up. Like, I'm not losing this game. And he was lights out going forward. And to have a 10-point lead, I feel like the damage was there, but the damage was recovered. It's like a team can stumble, but can recover from stumbling. It's just when the second half happened, that's when all the things that Sal mentioned, the coaching, the philosophy of the coaching changed. They got conservative on certain things. Some of the drives started to stall. They got the field goal where they really needed to touchdowns because Kansas City started getting touchdowns. Kansas City came out, had that long drive, to start the third quarter. Yeah, and they were running the ball, which was not happening early on. Pacheco started going off. I just feel like the defense, when you had a 10-point lead, everything was set. Like when we went into halftime, I don't think anyone on this podcast was looking at this like, man, I don't know if 10 points is enough. I think we're going, this is scary. Everyone was feeling like, you got this. Mahomes was injured going into halftime. I didn't even know what his status was. So I don't think the turnover meant a whole lot. I felt like that's like a heavyweight fight, and you got to, it's 10-9 every round, and then you get caught with a sucker punch, and so it's a 9-9 round. But overall, you're winning the fight. But in the second half, the adjustments were made, and eventually Kansas City flipped it, and then the rounds became 9-10 with, the Chiefs getting 10s or 10-10 because they were really going back and forth, and then it just got to the end of the game. Whoever had the ball last won the game. And then that stupid penalty, the Chiefs really lucked out to me. I really feel like they won the game by luck. I feel like they won the Bengals game. It was just luck. Just things just worked out. But I don't really feel like it was a convincing, dominant win or anything like that. They just got fortunate. That's what I feel.
I think the Eagles wore those fire plug boots in the second half. I think that's what happened. Man. They couldn't get going at all, man.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Hef? Hef is in the chat. So, but Mike, I kind of see the opposite, man. I don't see the 90% defense or 10% of Jalen Hurts. A turnover is a turnover, man. That doesn't matter how you look at it. That was a costly 7 points. He mentioned it himself. He said, "Yeah, I'm."
Of course. Turnover is a turnover, but the weight of it happened. I don't think it had a significant bearing on the game. It didn't change.
But if you're going into the locker room,
the momentum of the team, they got it right back.
But if you were going into the locker room with 21-7, don't you think that momentum would be changed too? On Kansas City,
there's an opportunity
and it
lost
makes
there.
the Eagles, and it also makes the Eagles defense actually better to say, hey, you know what? We definitely can't let Mahomes catch up. So they're gonna pin the ear back and then put more pressure on them. I see turnovers as a costly mistake, especially when you lose. If they would have won the Super Bowl, yeah, turnover, yeah, you're right. He overcome it.
No, I think they could have won the Super Bowl though. That's the thing. It wasn't like the turnover prevented them from winning. They still could have won the game. They had a 10-point lead. And if they recovered, they turned the ball over and instantly recovered from it. Like they went right down the field and got the lead again. So it was like, all right, it was a mistake. It hurt. Yeah, you could have made it a little easier, but you still were in a very good position to win the game. And then that's when they handed it over because the defense just couldn't come out and make a play in the second half.
Well, Hess said, all due respect, it does matter because you gave the MVP 7 points.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing.
And I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that the weight of it is not as critical. Like here's what it is. When the game was over and the guys are texting back and forth, Andre said, "You know who lost us the game." Right. And Sal was like, the defense. You said, no, it was Jalen Hurts. I'm like, you out of your mind that Jalen Hurts cost you any part of that game. I mean, the guy was phenomenal. He carried the team. I would not, even with the mistake, I would not slander his name. That dude was the whole reason why he was in the game. I'm sorry. You can't
so
go
what does it mean?
One,
so wait. Out of Jalen Hurts' press conference, he said it hurt. So what does that mean?
Because he's a football player. I mean, of course he's not going to say, I'm turning the ball over. I mean, turnover. I get it.
Now the other commentators said costly mistake, but it was costly me.
I mean, it is costly. I mean, it costs you an opportunity to go up 21 points possibly and change the game.
That changes the game, Mike. So what? I'm going back. All right. Yeah, I told Dre this morning. I said I don't necessarily agree with Jalen fumbling that ball. It goes back to when you're at 3rd and 1, and Isaac Seumalo false start pushed them back, and then that's what happened. So what if Isaac did not? Because we was going to score. I mean, they couldn't stop us. If Isaac did not false start, we wouldn't be talking about Jalen Hurts. I believe we'd be talking about Jalen Hurts being the MVP. My thing is we'd have went down there. It was 14-7. That was huge. When he jumped off sides, a false start, and then Jalen fumbles the ball. You at 14-14, like we were saying, you could have easily went up 21-7. Then your boy Sal, Jonathan Gannon, is all giggles and all that stuff because, he don't have to do anything. You just pin his ears back, you know what I mean? Because that's when I believe, and hats off to Patrick Mahomes. I'm just telling you right now. Look, I know you on there, and I don't know if you saw the text. I'm taking everything out back and whatnot. Hats off to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Hurt everything. You know what I mean? He put everything on his shoulders, but that's neither here or there. But 21.
He was faking that angle. What you talking about, man?
There's one thing though. There's one thing that I think is really important that we haven't talked about yet, and the adjustment that was made in the second half was they blitzed from the right-hand side and they forced Jalen Hurts to roll out left. And Jalen Hurts does not do well when he rolls out left when you look at his statistic. I think that's going to be on the game plan for a lot of teams moving forward, and that's something he's going to have to learn is how to roll out left and start to make some
Didn't
plays.
he hit some throws when he ran out left? Like I don't really think there was too many flaws in his game. They talked about that. He's like, he's rolling to his left, and he still would hit Dallas Goedert for a 3rd and 11. I mean, he made critical throws that I was surprised he would pull off. I see what you're saying on turn. I get it. It's definitely impacts and certainly could have changed the dynamic of the game. But I just don't feel like that's what cost them the game. And I don't think it really cost them significantly in the game because I just think that team should have won regardless. I just think with that defense and them sack masters and all that kind of stuff, and they didn't come through. I mean, 0 sacks is just disgusting for a team that had double-digit sacks on every single person that's on the defensive line. That none of them could even touch that guy. That just makes no sense.
It's the field. It was too slippery. It's the field's fault.
Well, I mean, then I guess Kansas City had the better cleats then. I mean,
That's
come on.
right.
I mean, come on, man. But yeah, Hef said, bring Jermaine spitting facts, bring the hot. And then Hef said, what about the big Mahomes run? He makes big plays at the biggest moments. And then that fumble, he said that fumble return woke the Chiefs up, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
Look, I can see it, but still, they were not that awake. You know, they went into halftime still in the dumps, man. That was not a confident team going into halftime. I didn't see it. I mean, the Eagles looked very confident. And, you know, the Chiefs came out, you know, I think they had a half hour of the game plan because of the halftime show so they could really study a bunch of stuff. And then they came out the second half.
Well, I blamed the 30 minutes. That 30 minutes.
that opening drive in the third quarter is what woke the Chiefs up because they were able to run the ball and then they were able to get more physical. And then that's when it was like, all right, we're back in the game. And then, of course, the special teams thing really is what, you know, got them a lead. They never had a lead until after that special teams play, and then they scored. So they were always chasing the Eagles until they flipped the script.
Right, but when you leave points on the field, you left at least in the first half, you left at least 3 points. And I believe, forget the 3 points, we would have scored a touchdown. You left points on the field by that turnover. I'm sorry.
Get more points. Get more points. You could have done it. They could have done it. They could have done it in the second half.
What I'm saying, this is the most crucial point, you know what I mean, of the year. You can't. They always say you always got to be on the other side of the turnover ratio. You want to be on that side to where you don't.
It's up for the Jaguars, right? The Jaguars who had 5 turnovers, and what did they do?
You're right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I agree.
Yeah,
yes, the turnover battle matters, but I think it's crucial to say certain turnovers have different weights, and I just feel like that happened early enough in the game that they were able to overcome the turnover and still had a very, very, very high probability of winning that game still. They were dominating that team. And in the second half, something just happened that they got away from it, and the Chiefs started figuring things out.
Then the turning point was the false start. So there you go.
Look, ultimately, guys, it was a lot of factors, and even Nick Sirianni.
It was a lot of factors. You're right. I mean, I was telling Dre this morning. I mean, they was barely getting the plays off. I mean, it was hitting double zeros. We was getting a break. I was like, I said, here come the flag. But no, we was getting a break. There was a few times, you know, that it hit double zero, you know, and it's like, wow. You know,
it was disappointing to see that how Kansas City offensive line was just manhandling our front four. I just couldn't believe it. You're telling me nobody could get through there, just nobody. I mean, it was just unbelievable to me.
Well, I couldn't believe how well Kansas City ran the ball on them. I was shocked. I never thought Kansas City would get that and run it against them for that much.
Right. What'd you say, Jermaine? I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
You blame the footing? I mean, because the Eagles are not giving up no excuses. If we
blame the footing, man, we should have had Kansas City cleats. I don't know.
I just think it's Kansas. I think it's just Kansas City. It's just that team that just in that moment somehow just plays better than any other time. It's something in the water. It's just, or it's a Holmes factor. But guys who just aren't spectacular, just in that moment, step up. That offensive line. I mean, they gave up 3 sacks to the Bengals. You know, they were getting pressured by the Bengals, but in the Super Bowl, I don't know where these guys came from. They could stop the best sacking team in the NFL somehow. I don't know where that came from.
Sal is right. That defensive line ran out of gas. Who knows?
Well, Hef said they stole the Commander's tape. So.
Actually, the Eagles stole the Commander's tape because the Eagles in the first half, that's exactly what they did. They controlled the clock. Yeah. I mean, Mahomes was sitting there on the sideline just kind of like, we're going to get in. We're going to get in. Yeah, I mean, I think that's also part of the reason why the defensive numbers kind of look the way they do, because honestly, the defense wasn't on the field most of the first half. You know, that's why Sue only has 1 tackle, because honestly, the Chiefs weren't on the field. You know, they controlled that game substantially. I don't know what happened in the second half, how the Chiefs were able to quickly figure out things, but they did. You know, I don't know if it's Eric Bieniemy who figured it out or if Andy Reid, but
Your boy,
someone
I don't know.
someone
I
figured
mean,
out.
Jermaine said it earlier. He said that when does the defense really adjust with Gannon's type of
Right.
scheme?
Yeah,
But
It
like you
doesn't.
said,
They don't
maybe they
have a
didn't need
scheme.
to
What
adjust.
Well,
And
he
sometimes
doesn't
you
have a
gotta
scheme,
adjust. Yeah.
but
I mean, what did he need to adjust to? Because honestly, Kansas City wasn't on the field much. There wasn't nothing to see. There wasn't really a lot there until that third quarter drive. Then it was like,
Yeah, that's
oh,
true.
and then
Now
it's like,
you
all right, now
figure
we
it.
see.
Yeah.
Now we need to
Yeah, now we
adjust.
see
But
what's going. Yeah, it's too late.
yeah,
no, look,
Mm.
look,
And that's what goes back to what Mike was saying, Sal. I mean, Dre. I
yeah.
know you know, we was talking the other night that you got to push the ball. But I kind of like that scheme as far as keeping Mahomes off the field. But come back,
Then, then,
come at halftime,
you got to keep scoring though. I
but
think it's the problem. Yeah.
Well,
you know me, Jermaine. I think afterwards, because after what you said about trying to keep the ball, then don't play scared. I mean, Philadelphia
Yeah.
played scared. Then
they did.
they were scared of Mahomes. You shouldn't be.
I don't understand why you scared of Mahomes. I mean, yeah.
Well,
Here we go.
Yeah, maybe that's where their coaching
Just
and
a man
experience
like
comes
you.
in
Well,
a little bit.
This is the amazing thing, man. This is talked about all around the horn that his longest drive was 29 yards to Travis Kelce or 22
22.
yards. 22
Right.
yards to Travis
22.
Kelce, right?
Larger
100.
pass, yeah.
He had 184 or 88 total passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and
Yeah.
Jalen was an opposite. Jalen had 300 something yards. He had 3 rushing TDs. No. He had one to
Russian TDs.
AJ Brown as well. I was saying, but I know you're here. I know you're in the chat, but I guess I got to give credit when credit's due. I wasn't saying that 48 hours ago. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I honestly, I'm gonna be real, man. I think Patrick Mahomes is the most luckiest dude in the NFL.
He's not.
That team was kind of.
You know, man.
They make plays, but they have the ball bounce their way.
Huh?
I mean, the ball does bounce their way, at times. That game could have gone either way, even with the turnover and everything. It's still, if Jalen Hurts had got opportunity, to go down the field, I think they definitely would have tied the game at a minimum. Probably scored. I mean, the Chiefs' defense was invisible.
Well, hold on, it just popped in my head. The one thing we did not count is that they missed that field goal.
The Chiefs, yes.
The Chiefs,
Yeah, they
that
did.
3 points. So,
dunked off the
It would have been
Chiefs.
21-17, right? Something like that.
Yeah, and
But
give Andy credit. Andy
I
will
think-
get into the Super Bowl or Hall of Fame.
I think the
Andy's gonna
biggest
get in the Hall
thing,
of
and
Fame.
I know you guys said something, Sal, I know you got yours, defense, and, you got your. I think what really angers me is that I can't believe is that the ref called that penalty on there. So you're not going to let that could have been the greatest Super Bowl in history. I feel as though one of the greatest Super Bowls in history. If we would have got that ball, what we had, like a minute and a half with one timeout, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because you know why? You didn't call that crap in the second quarter when it was blatant. And I was like, damn, they ain't throw the flag on Bradbury when, holding him, and that was blatant. This ticky tack one, at the end of the game, like, come on.
I was watching I was watching the Eagles post game show with Ron Jaworski and Barry and them, and I forgot who said. He said, "Well, you shouldn't wear green gloves. You should have white gloves on."
They was cussing up.
Be blended to the jersey.
Man, those broadcasters was cussing up a storm. I was hearing it on the radio, man. They was livid. Mike, you had to hear it, man. I was like, oh, man. There was no bleeping or anything. Sal, did you hear it? You hear Michael Barkan?
Yeah, I saw Michael Barkan. He was hot. Yeah, he was going off, man.
Bring the hot on that. Bring the hot.
The first thing he said is that was bull. Yeah,
I know.
He was going off. But I mean, listen, it's a close game. It's all right. The ref, it's fast play. It's in real time. they're calling it like they see it. But yeah, Jermaine, you're right. I mean, you don't call it the whole game.
It was
and now all of a sudden
delayed. It
you're
wasn't
gonna
like
call
an
it.
instant.
It was
Yeah.
delayed.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
delayed. It was kind of
delayed.
like, let me think about
Yeah.
it, and then he said, let me throw the flag.
But
Yeah.
I
It's my
just don't.
hands.
I just don't think that was what ended the game.
No,
Okay,
there's
yeah,
a
it
lot
did.
of factors.
Yeah, it was a
ended
lot
the
of other
game.
You
factors.
think so?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
look,
because after that, then the Chiefs had control of the clock that they could really milk it down, and then
whatever
what's
they want to do. Yeah.
Jerick McKinnon, running knowing that he could have scored a touchdown, then he went down to even run more clock. So
Yeah.
it really just took away that opportunity for Jalen Hurts to even get a chance to try to lead them to some kind of game tying or game winning opportunity.
You know what?
So-
You know what I was listening to as well, and it kind of messed me up. Why the hell did they take so long for that? Not Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, for them to overturn that catch. Clearly, you know that was a freaking catch, and it was almost literally like 4 minutes of time. They going back and forth, and they're going to say, "Look, if you don't have inclusive evidence." You cannot overturn it. You can't.
I totally agree on that.
You cannot overturn it.
I don't.
That should be a damn rule. Why
that's
do
a
you
good
have?
point.
You should have a minute, just a minute to figure it out. If you can't see nothing like that, you can't keep going back and forth. Time's up. Let's
exactly.
go.
I
It
agree.
was a
catch.
catch. They had to call Vegas.
It was a catch.
first.
Yeah.
The ball. You remember when I see it in my mind right now. The ball hit the ground, but you can't see if he still had control once he was over. So I don't know where those referees get that evidence saying I don't get it.
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's too long.
It was bad.
That's too long.
You know what I mean?
If you don't see it in the first 30, 40 seconds, stop. Well, yeah, it's a catch.
Since you said 4 minutes long, how'd you guys like the commercials? How'd you like the football commercials?
Hey, real quick, go back to
pretty good.
Okay.
Go back
Sorry,
to the
go
ref
ahead,
real
Mike.
quick. I was just going to say real quick before you get to the commercials on that ref. The one thing with the referee calling that, I think it was wrong to call it, but maybe the other side of it is if he didn't call it and they kick the field goal and then the Eagles go and win the game, then the Chiefs, when they go to complain, it's going to go back and say that dude was holding. 'Cause the refs get evaluated. So I don't know if part of that kicked in of, if I blow the call and not make it, what happens then? I don't think you will make the call. I mean, you gotta let them play, especially that. Especially then. But that's the thing that the guy was thinking that, or the script was written.
Like, that's interesting.
It came
interesting that
over
you
his
bring up the
earpiece and
refs.
said, "Yay! Here's the part where you throw the flag."
It's interesting you bring up the refs.
Wait. Oh.
Yeah. Because here's the thing with the referees. Like, you remember, there's just like an all-star crew in the playoffs, right? It's not teams that are used to working together. So do we need to get away from these all-star crews and just let teams that are comfortable working together, that know how they call the game, that work well together, that don't disrupt the game as much as they do when these guys are just, random picked? I mean, I think it makes it better.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. You get your best, the ones that have been working together, and you get that best crew and let them run the Super Bowl. Don't have an all-star. What the Yeah,
I don't know,
right.
man.
You're right, Sal. You're right.
You look at all sports, man. The refs are the ones that can determine the outcome.
Yeah, they can.
Right.
Somebody's gonna get killed one of these days. You look,
Look, man. Look, I know there've been threats.
You know what I'm saying?
Clear?
Especially that one with the Rams blatantly was pass interference on the set. Somebody's going to die, man. Somebody's going to die one of these days. It's going to be on the news saying, referee so-and-so was slain in the middle of the street, going to his car after the game. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Oh, my God.
Either that or
They
you're going to have
got
a
to
player
tighten
stop.
up, man. They got to tighten up. Huh?
Yeah, that's a tough job, man. It's like it's like being a coach of a kids team, right?
Oh, man, that's Jesus.
Everybody hates you. They tell you you're not doing a good job.
It's either that or it's going to be somebody's going to be flopping around on the ground like LeBron. Sorry, Hef, and like crying like crazy, trying to get somebody to overturn the call at the end of the game, man. So it's just, oh my God. That dude. That's a whole nother
Oh,
podcast. We'll get into that later. But all
man.
right. Real quick, because we're kind of running out of time. I want to do the Super Bowl ads, and I want to get into some of the free agents. So, Dre, I know you want to talk about the Super Bowl ads a little bit. So go ahead.
No,
What do
do free agents. Free agents.
Oh, you want
first.
to do the free
Go do
agents?
free.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get down. Now, these are the guys who are starters. All right, so I'll just run down the list real quick. James Bradbury, Fletcher Cox, T.J. Edwards, Marcus Epps, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Justin Hargrave, Linval Joseph, Miles Sanders, Isaac Salamato, and Kazir White. Some pretty good names on that list. Not everybody, but some pretty good names on that list. Fletcher Cox.
Cox has got to go.
Bye, Cox.
Yeah. You had a good role play this year. You got your money. This walk. Go.
Just go away.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bradbury is interesting because there's a lot of good free agents.
He ain't going to San Fran, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of good free agents, and especially a draft class is really good with cornerbacks. So I say if anybody probably might be able to be replaced, maybe Bradbury, just because there's so many good cornerbacks coming out in college this year, but still a big loss. Pick. I think Gardner-Johnson is one you got to sign. But
you got to sign Gardner-Johnson. That's your next Michael Jenkins and Brian Dawkins. Now I'm not saying he's on that level and whatnot, but he's a leader. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you definitely got to sign him.
What about Hargrave, guys?
Hargrave is he's
on the other side. I want him back. Huh? What's that, Jermaine?
He's on the other side of 30. He's about to hit 30. I think.
Yeah, I think we need him. I want him.
All right. Yeah.
FF said Fletcher Cox was rocking the low breast cut blouse.
Did you see that? Right. I mean, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I'm looking at it on TikTok. I said, "What the hell is this? What is he doing?" and he had a necklace. What, he had beads or what did he have? He had something.
I don't know. It looked like
the necklace. I was like, "What the?" I said, "Okay."
Look like the big Buddha beads or something. I don't know. But
interview with your boy Strahan, yeah.
So
here's the grave product.
Two big names, guys. Miles Sanders and Isaac Salamato. Sanders, I know Jermaine wants to keep very badly.
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, just one bad game, Jermaine. I mean, Miles Sanders just
he had a few bad games in the season, Dre. It's not like he got 1,000 yards. That's wonderful. All right, but can he catch the ball out the field? Can he catch the ball out of the backfield? No, he can't. All right. So Salamato, whatever his name is, yeah, you got to keep him. Now they're saying if they lose Salamato, they're going to put Cam Jurgensen on that right guard spot if Jason comes back. You know, so I'm good, but I would like to have him come back.
Okay.
So.
Do you replace Miles Sanders, or you just go with what you got? Get Boston Scott back and go with Gainwell.
You go. Yeah, you gotta get a big back. You know, that's just my thing. But Gainwell's not a 4-down back, and neither is if they bring back Boston Scott. He's not a 4-down back either. So you're gonna have to find something. But I don't want Miles. I'm sorry, I don't want him back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess also a big question is what's the offense going to look like next year? Because now you got a different offensive coordinator. He might have a whole different spin on how things are going to run.
True.
He
might be a run man, and the game might be boring. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you look at our module right now, we are run the pass, right?
Yeah, RPO.
So to me, man, it'd be nice to keep that same blueprint.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to start looking at the wear and tear of Jalen Hurts a little bit. You guys kept saying it all season. We run him too much. Yeah. And then the shoulder got hurt because you run him too much. So, maybe you do need a little bit of a change in philosophy, especially if you end up paying him the money that they're talking about paying him. I know you expect him to show out, but you got to kind of protect the investment too. So he's going to have to change things a little bit, I think, and be able to run the ball, kind of protect him a little bit, make him run when he just needs to run and not just run all the time and take hits.
Yeah.
That 17, 20 times a game has got to stop.
I mean, he was a leading rusher in the Super Bowl for the Eagles. I mean, he had 70 yards and no one else combined had over 40 yards rushing.
That's why I said Miles has got to go. You gotta go.
Yeah.
You come up short the biggest game of the season. You gonna come up short like that, and you almost then forget about all this negative stuff. We would have been talking about Miles Sanders if they would have overturned that call when you fumbled the second time. We would be talking about all this other crap.
Yeah, if that turnover count, I would have been like, that cost you the game.
Right.
I'd have been on board with that. I'd be like, 2 turnovers back to back. Nah, that ain't good.
Right.
What about the linebackers, guys? Because there's 2 starting linebackers that are out. That's T.J. Edwards and Kazir White. That's a lot. You got 2 out of 3 linebackers. So you guys want to let them walk?
Yeah, bring back TJ and get rid of Kaiser. I mean, Kaiser started off strong, and then I haven't heard his name the rest of the season. I mean, what are you doing, man? You know what I mean? What? Oh, well, because why? The 4 lineman was, getting to the quarterback, but I didn't hear his name. After game 3, I was like, Kaiser who?
Right.
All right,
so you get rid of Kaiser. You get rid of Kaiser, Sal, and you plug in the Kobe Dean. That's who you drafted. That's who you drafted. You know what I mean? Yeah, let him walk. So.
All right, non-starters really quickly. Honestly, I don't think I see anybody on this list that I'd bring back except for one. All right, so here they are. Andre Dillard, Brett Kern, the punter, obviously, Gardner Minshew, Zach Pascal, Robert Quinn, Boston Scott, and Jermaine's favorite, Mr. Sue. So I say Boston Scott only. You guys think anybody else?
I say Boston Scott and Pascal.
Okay. What about Dillard? I like Dillard, but
I like Dillard because that's an offensive line depth.
I like Dillard, but never mind. Go ahead. We didn't talk about the rookie Blankenship. He did fantastic this year.
That's another one, Reed Blankenship. Yeah, he's a rookie.
I really hope he does really well next. I mean, he's done good this year. So anyway,
I say
lose Boston.
Epps, he's going to get in, Dre. If you lose Epps and don't bring Epps back, he's going to Marcus Epps. Yeah, Blankenship's going to take Epps' spot if he doesn't. Sign him. Yeah.
Oh, they're going to fight. I think they're going to. I think that's going to be.
They're going to fight for. I think Blankenship really has he can get that starter job.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't forget about Wallace too. Kayvon Wallace.
He's a
safety.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mike, Gardner Minshew, we bring him back?
I mean, he's serviceable. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure where else you're going to get in the backup market. So at least he knows the offense to a degree. Yeah. I mean, that Cowboys game that they lost, I mean, they were scoring. I mean, who turned the ball over in that game? Wasn't it Miles Sanders that had 2 turnovers in that game?
You wonder why I want to get rid of him.
That's like a knife in the chest, dude. Wow, man.
Yeah, I guess you will remember that. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Talk about bringing the hot.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
That ain't like no turnover.
I believe didn't he have 2 turnovers that game? Yeah.
Nah, it didn't count.
That counted.
Less than 10%.
Like I said, that happened in the second and third half when he fumbled those. Actually, that was the fourth quarter, wasn't it? There's a difference between the turnover in the first quarter and the fourth.
Yeah, it sure
but I think you bring back Minshew. I mean, if he's cheap, it all depends on how much money it's going to cost you. You don't want to overpay for a backup.
Who else we got? I mean, he doesn't.
Bring Nick Foles back. Let him be
a
backup.
Who?
I hear Nick Carson's available.
Bring back Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is
right. Don't you mention that man's name in your mouth.
Keep his name out of your mouth.
Keep your name out of your mouth.
You'll see Dre's hand go across the screen and be like, right on.
I mean, I think we're in good shape, guys. I mean, we're in not good shape.
Exactly. I'll drop Carson off.
I think we're in okay shape. We got 2 first-round picks, Sal. You know what I mean? You was following that all year.
Oh yeah, that works out well with Howie. First-round picks.
We went.
Trade him away. Trade him away.
Jesus.
Here's the thing. Typically, teams who lose the Super Bowl don't do well the next season because their schedule's a lot harder. as of right now, the Eagles' schedule looks hard. I'm not saying it is. Things change, teams change, but it's definitely on paper much more difficult than it was last year. Okay, and you can't re-sign everybody. Obviously, you're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts. So, are they going to go down a little? Well, they may go down a little bit. They're not as good as this year. They may go down a little bit, maybe make a push, but it's going to be a little more difficult for them. I think. I think that's
all right. Well,
I think they're more hungrier. You know what I mean?
Hey, Hef asked. He said no BS. Are Eagles going to repeat?
Eagles.
Well,
I mean,
think
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. That's all I can say. It's going to be tough.
But listen. But remember, we went in the beginning of the season based on what we saw last year that Philadelphia was going to be 9-8 because it's 17 now, right? 9-8, just a little bit over 500. Well, maybe 10-7. I mean, we wasn't expecting this at all.
No,
I mean,
14-3. No.
14-3, but we could see that the pieces are there. And to answer Hef's question, I'm gonna say repeat. I'm gonna say it.
That's kind of.
I mean,
I'm not gonna say it.
I am gonna say it.
I'm not gonna say it.
Well, of course, you're not gonna say it. But
it's gonna be in the way next year, and they're gonna show up this time.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, you know what? I'm about to say something with San Fran. Okay,
who is the NFC biggest threat to the Eagles next year? In the NFC, the biggest threat.
The Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions. What?
It's gonna be San Fran or Dallas.
Not Dallas.
Somehow it will be Dallas.
Until Dak can prove that he can't, stop being a turnover machine.
Yeah, in the playoffs. So in the season, they're going to be running, and then everybody's going to jump back on board saying that Dallas is going to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I agree. Dallas and San Fran, which I really hate to say, because now that I'm putting them hand in hand, because you know what, Mike, I'm upset, I'm mad, and no disrespect to you. I know you're a San Fran fan and all that stuff, but what is going on? They're still belly aching over this NFC Championship. Get over it.
I'm mad about that too.
I'm tired of it, man. Get over it, Robbie Gold. And I'm just saying, I hope that Christian McCaffrey gets on the field the first game of the season and whips his hip out of place, and he's done for the season. I'm done with them, man. I'm mad. I hope they lose every game this season.
Vikings?
Yeah, I hear you on that. I'm not happy about it. I went to tweet about Gold's comments because he kind of said something I kind of had some concern about CMC and Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. So I'm like, y'all lost. And, I'm really mad at Deebo because he called Bradbury trash. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't get wide open. I mean, we had a quarterback that could throw the ball in the game, and it wasn't like he was wide open for Josh Johnson. I mean, I don't like the trash talk either. I mean, they got that butts kick, and even before Brock Purdy, it wasn't the same thing. I don't like none of that trash talk, man. Go out and win.
Yeah,
so I hear you on that. I do feel you on that.
Stop.
What sticks in my mind was the funniest freaking thing was that special teams play when Bosa got taken out. He just was like, what the hell happened?
His own guy. Yeah, it's like everything that can't go wrong went wrong in that game. Like everything. Like what the
heck? Bosa didn't even look like what the hell just happened?
He wasn't even in the game. How does that happen? And you get your leg cut. Fred Warner gets knocked out. First play of the game is like, oh man, here we go. I mean, that was just. I don't know. The script was written. The script was written for them to lose badly.
I blame your coach too, Kyle Shanahan, because I think he was part of this nonsense too. All this belly aching and all that stuff. Kyle Shanahan should just step up and say, "You know what, guys, shut up. All right, it's over with. Let's go into all season and let's move on." You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd like to see a little bit more leadership there on just keeping the team focused. Yeah, I was really disappointed. I was disappointed even during the game, even when Trent Williams did his deal. Now, when they were fighting, Trey Greenlaw trying to punch the ball out. Haufunga, got the late hit out of bounds. I'm like, what the heck are y'all doing? Go out with some class, man. I mean, do at least what got you here. They fell apart 100%. I agree, but They'll figure it out. They'll be back next year.
I
You know.
said Kyle Shanahan talks a lot for a ringless coach.
Oh man.
Oh boy, he talking trash. Got that trash franchise to let
Yeah.
every single good coach walk right out the door. They ain't got nothing for it.
I got a question for Hef. Who's your coach with a ring? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
man.
right.
That's,
Yeah, he talk about hot seat. Talk about
I don't
hot
know. Hey, they talking about is Riviera going to be there next year?
seat,
yeah.
baby.
I
Ron
don't
Rivera,
know.
yeah.
McCarthy,
Ron Rivera's.
all those. Yeah, those
Hef's
two guys.
still
Hot seat.
Zorny.
Riverboat is going to be on that Tacoma.
Well,
Man.
remember, Ron Rivera is the Andy Reid product, man. Remember, he started out as special teams coach, man. So he's,
Look, all I remember
he's a
is
clone.
Ron Rivera being a good linebacker for the '85 Bears. That's about it.
Was that the Super Bowl
Dang.
shuffle? Were they recording the music and
Yeah.
shades on? And
Bezos will be the New Jersey son.
What's that? What did he say?
We talking about Bezos. Bezos will be the new Jersey.
So what was the other line? What was the other guys? As far as the non-starters, Sal.
Is that all of them, right? All the non-starters.
Non-starters. Yeah, real quick. So Andre Dillard, Brett Kern, the punter, Gardner Minshew, Zach Pascal, Robert Quinn, Boston Scott, and Mr. Sue.
Wait a minute, Kern. Kern is the punter. I thought Scipios or Scipio, whatever his name is
I
the
think
punter.
Kern didn't Scipios get hurt, and they probably just signed Kern.
That's right.
Fill
Okay.
in.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
So,
punter's a
Sue,
dozen, whatever.
Jermaine, you want to bring Sue back? I know you do. Come on.
Sue. I mean, yes.
He might
Right
be
off the
retired.
sunset.
He's
How old
kind of
is
just
he?
a mercenary now.
It's pretty much, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
How old is he, man? I mean, because
He's
don't have a
36.
hairline. That hairline is way back there, man.
He's yeah. Hey man, Tom
Sue
Brady's
have a-
47, 40. He did the GOAT, so why not?
Sue has the type of contract, his briefcase, like, this is how much you're going to pay me to take people out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap this thing up, guys, because we gotta wrap this up. So let's go around the horn real quick as we normally do. Say what's on your mind. It could be about the Super Bowl commercials, what you think is going to happen next year, something, rule changes that you'd like to see, coaching moves, whatever it might be. The fact that San Francisco has about 100 draft picks because of coaches that they put through the system, whatever you want to talk about. Go ahead, Mike.
I'll just say this because we didn't get to talk about the commercials real quick, but there was one commercial that I thought was pretty clever, and it didn't fool me, but actually fooled people in my household. But the Tubi commercial where it brought up the Fire Stick, and it looked like it turned away from the game. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that was pretty clever.
I was like,
what?
My wife said, "Why'd you change the channel?" I said,
Exactly.
I looked at it, it's like, come on now, it's a commercial. That one was clever.
Yeah.
Trey, what do you got?
Yeah, the two Super Bowl commercials stuck out in my mind. One was the with Puffy. That was funny as I don't know what. And when Diddy.
Yeah.
That one was fun.
He put on a lot of weight, though. I was like, dang, man.
Well, listen, you guys are going to laugh at me, but most of the time when I see those people with a lot of weight, it's because of COVID. They're in the house all day. They're going to eat. So, But the other one is the Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Ben Affleck and J-Lo. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And she pulled up to the drive, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta go, fellas." And she said, "Well, before you leave, make sure you get me a glaze." I thought that was hilarious. I like that one, but listen, real fast, man. Eagles, great year. I think they got the strength to come back to do it again. I'm looking kind of towards that, like New England Patriots did when we beat them in 2017. They came right back around and won it in 2018. So.
Yeah. I will say, to jump in real quick, actually both our teams really went well beyond expectations. I mean, I had no idea when Trey Lance got hurt. I was just like, yeah, we're done. You guys came into the season just kind of like, I don't know what you're going to get out of Jalen Hurts, and you end up getting an MVP quarterback. No one predicted none of that stuff. This was definitely a wild season for both our teams.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Jermaine, what do you got, bro?
Jermaine?
I think my biggest thing is now what? Now what?
Mhm.
After the Super Bowl, now what? What do we got to do? Now we got to wait about a good 4 or 5 months for training camp to start. It's just amazing how fast this season went. I remember, our start of the season, we were like, football is back, baby. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
let's go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fantasy, all that stuff. Now look at us. Now what? Somebody tell me. I'm going.
76ers.
Oh God.
Yeah, no.
Crazy
Got
fan.
today.
Well, open it. What
Nope,
spring
I sure
training?
ain't no fan.
Spring training's coming up, right, Sal?
Free agency is the
right?
next big thing. Free
Huh?
agency is really the next.
Yeah,
Yeah,
free
that's where.
agency and then
Yeah,
the draft, right? Yeah,
who's going to pay Lamar Jackson?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That's true. Well, yeah, that's just my biggest thing. Now what?
Mhm.
I'm not too keen on what's happening. Both my son, are in baseball. So I'm not looking forward to that. And then, sorry.
Okay. Oh Lord, Hef said Lakers, baby.
Oh God.
Oh man!
Hey,
Look, that's a
we
whole
got
other
something.
podcast.
What
Yup,
Phoenix
we got something for you.
Phoenix
Hef.
is stacked now, right?
Yeah.
After all those trades, isn't Phoenix stacked? I don't know.
I think Hef's been taking
Yeah.
shots again. That's all I'm gonna
He's
say.
taking shots. Well, I
Well,
touched the nerve. I touched the nerve when I told Hef LeFraud James. You know what I mean? So,
oh boy,
Hit me with the
There you
hell
go.
boy.
It's on
Hit me
now.
with
Just open up
Hef just
Pandora's
sent
box.
And KD said, "Hey man, that's a touchy subject, man."
Hef just sent about 12 laugh emojis when you just said that. So look, that's a whole nother thing that I got to tell you about LeBron.
Well,
Next show, right? Next show.
Next
That's
show.
right.
Yeah, right.
What I
Yeah.
got is not necessarily Super Bowl related, but show related. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys and how much fun this is each and every week. So regardless of what the Eagles do
Yeah,
or don't
man.
do, regardless of that we argue about Howie or the defensive coordinator, whatever it might be, you guys, it's always a pleasure, man. So, and that includes the guys that all dressed up. We're fortunate to have people listening to us, going on other podcasts, and this is what makes it all worthwhile. Doing this all the time, having fun, talking about sports,
Yeah.
and you guys make it all possible. So that's what's on my
Hey,
mind.
hey.
Thanking you guys. So
Yeah, man,
Yeah, man.
absolutely. It was a
Crew right
good
here.
good season for Enough Said and
Mhm.
in collaborating with All Dressed Up this year. So
Yeah.
we're looking more for that and more people to get on and guest.
Yeah,
And
get some more guests. We
and
really didn't have a lot of guests this
Right?
no,
No, we didn't.
no, we didn't have a lot of guests
Yeah.
this year, but
yeah.
They're
we're
standing
We're not
by.
done yet.
We got
Yeah,
some.
we're
They're
not
coming.
done.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
no, man, we last year we had a lot of good people, so
Yeah.
Right.
it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, we did.
No, we
So,
got some
Yeah.
in the wings waiting, and I think we got a lot of good things coming up too, because it's not just going to be football. Like the off season of football, while we're waiting for free agency and a combine and the drafts and all that. So we talk about everything like Formula One, baseball, which is starting in a couple weeks. There's a lot of stuff we talk about. So check out our show as always. Like I said, subscribe. To our channel, Enough Said Podcast. We're also on Facebook. Twitter.
Yep.
All the major networks, Spotify, all those, you can listen to us on there as well, or just email us, enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. So as
Yes,
always,
sir.
guys, we appreciate it. And we'll be back, 2 Sundays from now, maybe? I think that's
Yeah,
what we're looking at.
and
Yeah. Yep.
So
thank you, one and only Shell. Great show, LOL. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
we appreciate that. Yeah.
Who?
Oh, one and only Shell.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. I dig
So-
it. Okay. We appreciate you, Shell. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. Well, keep an eye out because we're going to be checking out our social media channels because we will put next time we're live broadcasting all our shows. We're going to be live broadcasting coming up. So, drop us a line if you have any questions or any topics you want us to talk about too. We're more than happy to do that. So, all right, gentlemen.
Sal Howie
let's do it.
Grace.
That's right, baby. Howie, he's my man. So, all right, guys.
All right.
Later.
Later.
Later. Yep.
We're out.
Peace.